talking about dragons and serpents and Djinn for anybody that came late. The unseen realm, the spiritual realm, and how it relates to us. How it relates to us. I spoke to earlier about how David was being hunted by Saul, but he really couldn't talk to anybody about it. And he legitimized it. He knew he was being hunted without having any proof. But then when he knew that Jonathan found out and Jonathan could substantiate it, he knew then, okay, I'm on to something. But even then, David didn't go around crying in everybody's ear about him being attacked by Saul. You never hear David talking about it to his men or to anybody. The only time you hear David discussing it is when he's facing Saul. And that's kind of how it is. Because like I said, these entities, they work through people. Friend, they will work through your family. Your family could be being manipulated by thoughts that come to them from these entities. This is how they do it. They know you and me better than we know ourselves. They know our weaknesses. They know what provokes us. They know our insecurities. And they've been doing these things for so long that they've mastered us. That's why when you come into a knowing, it's hard to really communicate your knowing to people around you because everybody ain't at the same level. And you got some people that are being puppeteered by these entities. Facts. They are. In one way or another, all of us get puppeteered by these entities. Nobody is exempt from it, so there's no shade here. But there are some that get puppeteered more than others. Just because they haven't evolved, they haven't healed, they haven't aligned in a way where they can establish some dominance within their own creation. That's how they get you. It's always at the things that you're weak in that they use against you to cause maybe some kind of a distance or an increased divide between you and someone else. This is what they do. And this is why it's said that in order to be able to withstand or to stand amongst certain of these beings, when you look it up in ancient texts, whether it's the Quran or ancient texts across this planet, fire and these beings are contingent with one another. Why? Because it is the purging, it is the fire component of you going through the fire that grants you command within that environment. Why? Because you've been purged, you've been refined, you've been fine-tuned, you've been stripped down of the things that don't matter, and you're standing in your creation and in the power of that. It takes mastery to get through the chaos and the fire. Everybody ain't gonna make it through. It takes discipline, it takes mastery, it takes courage, it takes dedication. You don't get through those things with a crowd. You don't get through those things with someone that you can rely upon for advice. You get through those things by leaning on your own knowing. Being your own person to go to for advice, by not ever needing to feel like, oh, I need to run it by somebody, or oh, I wish I had somebody I could run it by. You don't need that. You're completely self-sufficient. And that is the goal of this life, is to make us all self-sufficient. To take the love component from within our own selves and let it reverberate out throughout all of our relationships without any fear. Being strong enough to let it show and to know that you have what it takes to withstand whatever may come by showing that vulnerable side of yourself, because you're really that. You really are. That's the only way you stand before these things. Whether it be a dragon or a genie or whatever. Because they know all the weak spots. And it was God's initial creation of us to do such things. You've got to remember the story. Is that they didn't want for this to come about. Their creation is to try us. It's been the same thing all along. We've just been whining about it. Because it's easier to whine about it and say, oh, it's hard and they got me again and now, they tricked me and now I've been cursed and I don't want to deal with the curse. So let's just partner with them. I'll just bow down to that type of thing. It was never that for you. It was always a journey. It was always going to be hard. That's why God made this world so beautiful, because the walk is tedious, friend. You need it to be beautiful to offset the difficulties that you will experience in this walk. It's hard. It's hard as hell. But you know what happens after you get used to dealing with hard stuff? It's not hard anymore. It's only when you're not used to dealing with it that it becomes even more harder. It's your creation. It's what you were created to do when you were brought forth into this life. And I'm here to tell you that there are those within that family of beings that at one hand don't want you to rise up to the occasion, because that is who they are innately. They're disagreeable. They are accusatory. They're going to make it difficult for you because that was their creation. But on the other hand, when they see one stepping into certain circles and rising to certain occasions, it reminds them of something innate within them, their own selves. And they must assist. They must. It's written in the code, friend.